Hi, beautiful people. You're welcome back to today's episode, and you're welcome back to Begin Sewing with Chi, where I give you concise, straightforward sewing tutorials, fast and straight to the point. And also, I also give you ready to wear business ideas on this my channel. We also trash lessons of life on this channel. So today we are going to be talking about this beautiful shirt that we are seeing. So this shirt can actually go for a two-piece. When I tell you, when you want to make your style, make something that is not in the market. So this style, you can agree with me that this is not rampant in the market. It's just coming out. So you can just pick this style and still try to be creative about it. The main work on this shirt is on the back. This design that you're seeing on the back is the main work. And that's what I'm going to be concentrating on while we go ahead to show you how you can make this and how you can position it in the market. Simple, straight to the point. And I want to tell you, this is one style that when you make and you hang, people will definitely rush you, no matter how it is. People will definitely rush you. Make it different colors of it, sample it for your people to see and wear it. And I tell you, you'll be ready for whatsoever that is going to come your way. Let's dive right into this tutorial as I show you what I have for you today. So today we are going to be making this shirt. Now I want you to observe this shirt properly. Okay, it's a cut together sleeve shirt. Okay, so the sleeve is cut together with the bodies. Now the back pattern, there's a draping at the back, and that's where I'm going to be concentrating more on. Okay, so let's draft the front pattern, because it's the front pattern we are going to be using to cut the back pattern. Okay, so as you always know, this is a shirt for the front pattern, right? So there's going to be a button. Okay, here there's going to be a button. So since there's going to be a button here, okay, since there's going to be a button here, my fabric is on fold, but this is how I folded it, right? So for the button in front, I'm going to be creating a 1.5 inch allowance. Okay, you place your tape rule like so and create a 1.5 inch allowance, and then I have created the 1.5 inch allowance right here. Okay, now remember that I always create my border line. I always create my border line of 1 inch here. Okay, so I'll be marking 1 inch, and I'll be marking 1 inch, and then I will rule my line. I will rule my line. Now remember this allowance for button that I left here, can you see it, of 1.5 inch? So I'm going to rule it down so I will not mistakenly put my this is for the button, all right? So since this is for the button, that means my armhole is by this side, right? So now the neckline we are going to be using is going to be 2.5. Remember how I taught you to always calculate for your neckline? Okay, and my neckline is 2.5 inches. My neck depth for the front, okay, for this front, my neck depth is still going to be 2.5 or 3 inches, whichever way that you like. Okay, and then I will use my curved ruler to connect like so, but let me just use my free hand now to connect it. Okay, now I come over to my shoulder. Now my shoulder for this person is 8 inches. Okay, so I will place my tape rule and I will measure 8 inches, and this is my 8 inches right here. Okay, now for the sleeve, remember I told you, even though it's a cut together, do not place your tape and measure straight, because most times this person will tell you this is where I want the sleeve to end. So by the time you measure straight, as you are cutting, you are going to make mistake. So always measure the shoulder, then you go ahead and measure the sleeve. For the sleeve, the person wanted it to get to 8 inches, so I'm going to be marking my 8 inches from the shoulder. Okay, my 8 inches from the shoulder, and my 8 inches is somewhere around here. Okay, now remember that we are supposed to come down by 1 inch for the shoulder allowance. You can come down by 1.5, there's no problem, but just come down by 1 inch for this particular style, and I will tell you why. Okay, now remember, if you are conversant with placing sewing allowance on your fabric, that's fine. If you are going to place sewing allowance here, that is fine. For the sleeve, I mean. So I won't be placing my sewing allowance here. I'll be placing it on my my fabric direct. So let's just plot the pattern. Now let's come over to the sleeve opening. Now for the sleeve opening, look at the sleeve very well, the hem area of the sleeve. What are you seeing? Are you seeing that ruffles there, as if there's an elastic on the sleeve? That is not an elastic. I will tell you what they did. So for my sleeve opening, I want it to be 10 inches. So I will place my tape rule like so, and I will mark 10 inches. Okay, now for the benefit of the back pattern, I will mark my horizontal lines. Okay, so I'm going to be marking my shoulder to bust, which is 10 inches, my shoulder to waist, which is what, 16 inches, and then the full length of my top. Now this top, if you look at it very well, it went below the hip line. And going below the hip line makes it 27. 27 is just perfect. So the length of my fabric is going to be what, 27. Okay, so now on this same, I will rule this line. Now this is my sleeve opening right here. Okay, I'm going to just come in by 2 inches. Okay, like so, and then I will curve out, and I will just take it straight down. Okay, straight down. Now sometimes I will prefer you use bust measurement. Do not use your hip measurement for this hem area. If you use your hip measurement, it's going to have this curvy effect here. But if you don't use your hip measurement, that you use your bust measurement, this measurement you got here, take it straight down. If you use your bust measurement straight down, you will find out that when it gets to your hip area, you will achieve that effect you are seeing here, because the front button will open. So if you are looking at this style now, you'll be thinking that there's a slit, that they trimmed out the front around that button area. No, they didn't trim it out. It was because it was not the size of the hip around here. That is why it opened slightly in front, and you are seeing a V shape on the down part of the top. Okay, so whatever measurement you got here, take it straight down. Now I'm going to be coming up by 2 or 3 inches, or however you want. As you are doing, depending on your own size, be checking how many inches you are going to come up by. So me, I came up by 2 inches, and then I will measure 3/4 of here. Measure from here to here. Okay, measure from here to here, and I got 3 inches. So divide it into 3. Okay, that's where this curve is going to land. Can you see? So this is where this curve is going to be landing, and that is basically it for the front. Now let's cut it out. Remember that is when we get to our fabric, we add our sewing allowance, so you don't forget. But if you know you are going to forget, add the sewing allowance on the fabric itself, on the pattern itself. That when you get to this place, you are going to bend this place inside, okay, before you cut out. I've made it now. You bend this place inside, bend the sewing allowance for the button inside, and then you cut out, because there's a slanting that this place is supposed to have. Okay, so you won't have shortage when you are bending. So this is what the front is all about. Then you apply your collar, you bend your buttonhole, your flap the way you want it, and then you stitch. Now I'm going to be using this one, okay, to cut out the back pattern. There's a particular portion of this video that I didn't know was now recording, and that is when I was talking about how to curve out this place. Okay, so after you have taken it straight down, just go up by 2 to 3 inches depending on how you want it to curve out. Divide this base by 3 and one portion of it, so you curve out and just get to here and you end it. Okay, so now we go back to the back. I'm going to be using this for the back pattern, right? So now if you look at this particular style, you will see that the deepness of the neckline came from, stopped at the bust line. Do you understand? So it depends on you now, depending on how deep you want your own neckline to be. You can bring it as low as the waistline. It depends on you. Then on that joining that you have at the center part of the center part of the neckline that came down, you can decide to be creative with your own. You can decide to add ribbon there, you can decide to put stone there, you can decide to put trimming, anything you like. You can play around that place. It will add more beauty to your own. So now what we are going to be doing is that I want the deepness of my own to end at the bust line. So I'm going to measure 1 inch inwards on this bust line, either 1 inch or 2 inches, or anyhow you want it, but okay, let's go with 2 inches. So I'm going to measure 2 inches inside. You can make yours 1 inch, you can make, depending on how you want your own. So just play with these things. There's no rule to it. Okay, there's a video I'm going to be dropping about Sheyi Vodi. If you need to see that video, I want us to study that guy and see how he's making his own money, because a lot of people said he's a ritualist, he does this, he's not tailoring that is giving. I want us to see the things he's doing that is giving him the money, so that when we come back, you will understand more what I used to tell you in all my videos. Now I'm going in by 2 inches, and this is my 2 inches here. So I will use my ruler to connect it straight to the neckline. Can you see? Now I'm going to first of all cut it out, so that our neckline will be clear. Are you seeing? This is what I have now. Now I will now go ahead, okay, I will now go ahead to slant, to create a slash. Okay, I'm going to go ahead to create a slash. I will tell you how to create this slash and where this slash is going to end. Have you seen what I did? Are you seeing it? So now, you do not have anything to do with this side. This side is okay. Where the fullness is around here. Now, let's go ahead and slit. So I'm going to put my fabric on fold. This is my fabric on fold. Okay. This is my fabric on fold. Okay. So I will place this like so. Are you seeing what I'm doing? I will place this like so. Okay. So by the time I slash and spread back, I should have 2 inches. Everything I spread should come back to how it is here, including these 2 inches. So now I'm going to, because I'm using paper now, it might not give me the perfect job, but when you are doing your own, make sure it's perfect. Okay, because on fabric it can be easier for you to manipulate. Now do you see that when I'm splitting, look at what this place did? Okay, so I'm going to make sure you slant it, so that as you are slitting, everything will be flat out. Now I open it anyhow you want, any wideness, depending on the fullness that you want. Okay, depending on the fullness that you want. Now there's something people used to do. The gaps between the slip should be equal. Please, take note of that. But for now, I'm going to be doing what I can do because this is paper. Okay, so but just know it that the gaps between the patterns that is slitted should be there. If from here to here is 2 inches, it should be 2 inches here, 2 inches here, 2 inches here. Do you understand? So that at the end of the day, you are sure of how many inches you are pleating in. Okay, so now this is my own. Now I'm going to be adding half an inch to gather it back. So you can add half an inch here on the pattern, or you add it on the fabric. Do not forget, because if you don't add that half an inch here to gather it back when sewing, okay, it's going to eat into your own fabric and your cloth will be looking funny after you have made it. So now I'm going to mark out. So I will remove this one. Can you see now? So when I open it, I will have something like this. Do you understand? So what am I now going to do? I am going to start pleating it inside. Inside. Can you see? Pleating it inside. Gathering it inside. You must gather it. So this is the original gathering, right? So you are going to gather it and make sure it comes back to how it was initially. Can you see? This is all this gown, this top is about. You gather it, so you find out that the fullness will now be around this area. Nothing go touch the upper part. Can you see how it is now? Now you just go ahead to attach your collar. I already have a video about how to make your collar very easy, very easy. I know they like stress myself for anything, and the truth of the matter is, when you come to the factory where these pieces is going to be made, 100 pieces, 50 pieces, you find out that nobody go get chance to dey do 1+2, and it will still come out perfectly well. I am not saying that people that do tutorial and go into details of 0.5 and all that is wrong. No, but I'm telling you that in the conventional settings, except when you are making for a particular person and you want it to be fitted on that person, but for something that you are making that you don't know who is going to wear it. I might be making something for a size 14 person, and then a size 8 will see it and prefer that, oh, I want a big shirt, and wear it. You don't suffer finish with that. Do you understand? And am I making something for a size 10 person, size 14 will see it and feel, oh, it's very fitted, I like it, and will take it. So what are you now going to say? Try to make your sewing easier for yourself. The cocoa is go out and start selling. Do you understand? Most times all the stress we put ourselves through when sewing does not really. I need to drop that video about Sheyi Vodi. I made a documentary on Sheyi Vodi, and I'll be dropping it. I want to show you that in ready to wear business is different from your conventional way you sew in your shop, whereby a customer walks in and you measure. I might be making something now for a size 8, and a size 10 will sit and say he likes it. It will be very tight on him, but he go wear am. Then I might make something for a size 16. Size 10 person go see am say, I like it. I want my clothes very big. So, no shape, shapeless. And you wear it and you'll be ready to pay whatever the amount is. If you need me to make this on a fabric, let me know in the comment section. Then you see the tutorial, fabric tutorial of this. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in my next video.